this video, we'll be covering CFAM Sheet 553 MOE, or Maintenance of Effort, not to be confused with CFAM Sheet 554 MOE for Special Education, that is Maintenance of Equity, totally different process. There'll be another video on that. 553, Maintenance of Effort. Latest Commissioner's memo I could find on this was last December. It outlines the section from ESSA that's necessitating this. So this is dealing with the United States Department of Education and federal funding requirements that are made of the Arkansas Department of Education. So these are ways that schools have to track this information so that we can receive federal dollars into our state for education. That law is an amazing 486-page read. If you're having trouble staying awake at night, I'd recommend it. But the Section 8521 does discuss the requirements that are more briefly outlined here. It states that schools must maintain at least 90% of their local funded money being expended each year, looking at that prior year. And so 90% of what you spent last year has to be spent again year to year. From talking with Kathy Hanlon and different people in our office, they state that this is basically to help spot supplanting, to help make sure that you're still doing what you should be doing with your local dollars, not trying to replace them with federal money. So that 90% is kind of an amount that your expenditures can fluctuate year to year, but they should fall within that 10% difference. Be able to be something you can see and make sure that not large chunks were being allocated out of federal funds to supplant, is a term you hear a lot in the law. We're supposed to buy extras, add-ons, additional pieces, but not backfill our day-to-day operations with these federal dollars. Maintenance of effort, if you'll click this link, it takes you over to the Department of Education's page on this, contact information for some federal finance people and different processes. From this page, if you'll click all school funding reports, it takes you here, and you'll have to change this off of carryover into maintenance of effort. There are no current year reports because this hasn't occurred yet, so we got to go back a year. But then you can see the reports that are making up the data that we're pulling. We could see that they are meeting this maintenance of effort in all 4 areas, which is something you'll commonly see if you look through CFAM reports for this. And it's giving you the figures with how they met that, what the prior year amount was, what they expended, if it met that 90%. We're doing the same kind of idea just for every one of the states. So if you'll look at Alma, this red line becomes a 90% target based on the prior year. And then their expenditures, as you're seeing, are well above for every finished fiscal year. There's 4 ways to meet this requirement in Arkansas, and you can either do that with flat expenditures, like you're seeing in the first one. Expenditures per pupil versus your ADA, your average daily attendance. Expenditures per pupil versus your ADM, average daily membership or enrollment. I couldn't see a whole lot of difference between enrollment. Enrollment's most likely point in time as opposed to your averages. You'll see that those numbers are very close to the ADM calculations. As you can see, for fiscal year 2023, which we're in now, Alma has not met this requirement, but given 5 or 6 months remaining for payroll and expenditures, they're well on their way to meeting that target. I had to dig around a little bit to find schools that hadn't met this. We go to East Poinsett, we can see kind of the phenomenon of where they didn't meet it by expenditures in 2022, but they met it by the other ones. This only has to be met by one of these. From reading through the law and the guidance on Department of Education's page, if you don't meet it, there are waiver processes where you can explain why you're not meeting it. Large declining enrollment, some extenuating circumstances, different things like that. The law calls out the ability even to completely miss it 1 out of 5 years. And so even if you did miss it 1 year, it's not going to dry up all your federal funding immediately. It's just something to keep tabs on and try to make sure you're not missing so that you cause problems or extra paperwork headaches for yourself. So this has been CFAM Sheet 553, Maintenance of Effort.